Today, IBM Watson is being used to diagnose cancer. It has read over 4 million pages of medical journal. I don't know whether your doctor has read 100 pages a year, right? So, which is why this guy, Vinod Khosla, the co-founder of Sun Microsystems, he basically said that, he's holding my phone actually, and he basically said that within 10 years, 80% of GPs are going to be redundant because technology such as this, because he actually bought the company or the majority shareholder of this company that basically bought my friend's company on the Gold Coast that made this device, a live call, that takes your heartbeat, analyzes it, and tell you whether you have atrial fibrillation of the heart. This device has saved over 100 lives because a guy was on the plane, had a chest pain in the US, pilot refused to land. The doctor had this, put it on the chest, a different part of the cavity, and could tell that the guy was having a heart attack and the pilot landed and saved. Another guy was just using it, put your fingers like this, you can come check it out if you want. And essentially what happens is data goes to the cloud, goes to my old university in Southern California, they're actually trawling it out. And they could see that the guy trawling it was having a heart attack when he was doing it. So they called the phone and said, mate, you're having a heart attack, go to the hospital now. And he was safe. So, all right, who uses Uber? Most of us do, right? Amazing stuff, right? Some countries in China now, because they sold out. Anyway, Uber, right, is valued at $66 billion. Who thinks it's a great company? Okay, there's a dark side to Uber. Okay, they've been telling the government that they're going to create jobs, which they are right now. But they're also working on this, an autonomous vehicle. A few years ago, they went to Carnegie Mellon University Center for Automated Vehicles. And they said they want to work with the university to develop an automated car, automatic driving car. In less than 3 months, they hired the entire faculty. And Carnegie Mellon University sued them, and they sent out a pot for a couple of $1 billion. And they just bought a company called Otto, which do the self-navigation for trucks for Volvo. Why? Who does Uber pay right now? The driver, right? If you don't have a driver in the car, all the profit goes to Uber, which is why it's valued at $66 billion. It's not replacing taxi, it's replacing every single transportation mode, right? That's why UPS, DHL, Federal Express are very worried about that. What's the difference between carrying a parcel from point A to point B or a person from point A to point B? You can already see, right? My dad has got Uber Eats email. They're already delivering food. So the next step will be delivering parcels. Next step, and so on. And what's coming too is this Erhan, which is a Chinese drone. It can take one passenger and travel for 30 minutes. And it's already approved in Las Vegas last year, in Nevada. And today, I think it was announced in Dubai, they're actually going to launch this end of the year. So you'll be transporting people within a 30-minute range of different places. So it's a drone, essentially. There's no controls. You go in there, you sit in there, you automatically from point A to point B. So these are coming, and coming very soon. People say, well, this is really dangerous, you test it, and so on. I can tell you, these drones that you see around nowadays is hexacopters or quadrocopters, are safer than helicopters, right? Because helicopters only have one propeller. This has 6, right? Or 8, or 4 at least. So that's something that's coming. Now, one of the things that also I was working on with my classmate from the Pentagon was basically the problem of AI. We heard about how if machines become more intelligent than us, and they're programmed for efficiency, what will happen? They're smarter than us. And this is what Ray Kurzweil, the word singularity came from his book Singularity is Near. He says by 2025 or 2029, machines will be smarter than humans. We could merge with a machine and live forever. If the machine is smarter than us, we can't really program them anymore. We will be their pets, right? So one of the issues right now is, for example, if I had an AI programmed car that is designed to self-navigate and drive me around and protect my life, and they're driving down the single-lane bridge, and a school bus with 20 kids is hurtling down out of control. As a human, I can decide my life is not worth 20 kids. I can basically drive up and kill myself. But the machine is programmed to protect my life, so it basically doesn't understand what a human life is worth. It will probably crash into the school bus, kill the kids, and you will live because of airbags and so on. Then all of you said, wow, that's really wrong, we really should program it, make it ethical. This is the problem, right? If you say that, but what happens if you go to a showroom for an autonomous vehicle and the car salesman tells you like, this car may kill you, but it'll always be ethically right. This car will never kill you. Would you buy a car that will kill you? Probably not, right? So you can play this game if you like. MIT developed this borrow machine. You can go to the website and if it's a robber that's crossing the road, would you kill the robber and so you can live, or would you kill yourself and so on, and you can try different moral dilemma machine. Now let me quickly jump to basically the exponential growth and how it impacts us. So when you digitize anything, it goes on an accelerated exponential curve, and I'll talk more about it. And then you can dematerialize it, demonetize, and then it democratizes the whole industry. So what do I mean? So when you digitize something like music, right? So now you have actually almost free music or very affordable music, and it goes on an exponential curve. Same with photos, same with your GPS system. Anything that becomes information enabled go on an exponential curve. It grows very rapidly. And it dematerializes. Okay, so what happened is that the devices then all disappear, right? I mean, most of you here will remember when the first video player came out, it was like $3,000. Right, today it's on your phone, right? Your encyclopedia was like $1,000 when it first came out. Your video camera was like $2,000 plus. The GPS system you could afford one was like $279,000. And today you have all this on your handset, which you can buy for less than $50, right? And you have a total value of about $900,000 on your palm. And this is amazing because it's created a level playing field. This Maasai warrior in the middle of the Nairobi Safari Park has got access to more information than Bill Clinton did when he was the president of the United States. Right? This is because he has a mobile phone. And it's ridiculous, right? So this guy could be running a call center, But I guess we need to repurpose the use of technology, right? If you have young kids today and Titanic sound, this is what they'd be doing, right? And posting it, or do a selfie. What do you think this guy is doing? This is back in the 1980s. Taking a screenshot in 1983. So you guys are laughing, right? You know that on your iPhone now, all you have to press is just two buttons and you can capture the screen. In the old days, how you actually do a screenshot. And then what happened is when you digitize stuff, things become cheaper. You demonetize. So your music, your bookshops, your phone calls, everything becomes cheaper and cheaper. Research libraries and so forth. And like I mentioned to you, I gave a talk at the Global Tax Conference for a major accounting firm. And what's interesting to me though, what I learned from them, globally, all the countries in the world are on a race to the bottom, cutting corporate tax. So when you cut corporate tax, you've got to balance it out with some other revenue stream, right? So they've been increasing GST and VAT. Romania is now facing a 42% VAT. Netherlands is 22% and going up, right? But guess what? The actual revenue is dropping because things are becoming cheaper. Right? In the old days, if you want to do research or get market research done, you pay a company to do it, they pay GST on it. Today, you go and do it in Google for free. Google makes money on the banner ad, but Google says this is the revenue that we generate from Australia, it's from a company in British Virgin Islands or wherever, we don't pay tax on it. Another example is your shoe. In the old days, when you buy a pair of shoes, about 55% of it, so $100 shoe, $55 go to tax. Right? When you buy the raw material, when you pay for the labor, when you sell the shoe. Today, I can download the entire blueprint of the shoe and 3D print it in my house. And because each tube of the ink or the raw material for 3D printing is less than 100 euros, you don't pay tax on it. So essentially, government loses out on the entire revenue stream. Just look at a big screen TV, right? In the old days, you'd be paying like what, 30, 40, 50, $100,000 for it. Today, you pay $500 for it. The tax they collect is $50 instead of $5,000. So the other thing that happened with technology is democratizes and allow people to do a lot of things that they were otherwise not able to do. What does that mean? An example is access to the internet. So companies like Google, is launching the Loon project in Sri Lanka this year, and they tested it in New Zealand. They're launching balloons that are smart, intelligent balloons that provide Wi-Fi access to the entire island. And they're not the only one. So you guys heard about how India launched 104 nanosatellites onto space. So nanosatellite technology has been moving quite quickly. And one of the Singularity alumni has a company in Argentina that is launching 220 of these satellites, which will cover the entire Earth, which will provide you with internet access to every part of the world. So don't worry about your NBN. By the time NBN has reached all of Australia, everybody will have access to the internet already. And Facebook has launched Aquila, which is a drone that flies around Africa. They tried to launch it in India, but they made it a Facebook garden wall, so you can only see stuff that Facebook wants you to see. And the Indians were very upset about it, so they had to pull out. But what they're doing is using drones to do the same thing, providing Wi-Fi access all across. So when you got disruptive stress, you also have the opportunity then, right? And this is where the opportunity lies. So let me give you an example, the Kodak moment. You guys know about the Kodak moment. Kodak, back in 1993, I think was one of the largest companies in the world, hired about 165,000 people globally. In 2011, it went bankrupt. In 2011, Instagram sold to Facebook for $1 billion. How many employees do you think Instagram had when they sold to Facebook? 12. Yeah, 11, 12. You know, and that's the thing, right? When the government is targeting more bumps on the seat, more jobs, which is great on paper, what they're missing out is the impact. Would you rather have a $1 billion company with 11 or 12 people that pays tax, or would you rather have a company that hires 165,000 people and it's gone? I mean, Kodak invented the very technology that killed itself, the digital camera. How did it kill itself? Well, think about it, right? So what happened is, in the old days, when you take a photograph, it costs you about US $1. You got to buy the film, you got to develop it, you got to get the equipment, you got to get the chemicals. Now, how much it costs you to take a photo with your phone? Nothing, right? So essentially, the entire supply chain for photographic material was gone. See, Kodak didn't know that they were in the digital photography market. They thought they were in the chemical industry, paper and chemical, which is why they're gone. Same thing with Amazon and Barnes & Noble. This is an interesting one. Barnes & Noble is a bookshop in the US. Amazon became the world's largest bookshop online, right? And then they developed the Kindle. Everybody thought it was stupid, right? Like, you are already the biggest bookshop, you're shooting yourself in the foot. Why are you creating a digital book? You're making less margin and so on. Because they knew if they didn't do it, if you don't disrupt yourself, somebody will disrupt you. And now it's actually the right strategy for them. Airbnb and Hyatt International. Hyatt International used to be the largest hotel chain in the world, about 525 hotels. And they were valued about $8.5 billion, and Airbnb was valued about, today is about, I think, $24 billion now. The difference between Airbnb and Hyatt is that when Airbnb wants to have an additional room, right, it doesn't have to pay for it, right? One of you sign up and rent out your room, and they take the same margin as Hyatt, 30%. But for Hyatt to create an additional room, they have to build an entire hotel to do that. And that's where the big difference comes from. And one of the things I want to talk about too is that, currently there are two kinds of enterprises, right? You've got NGOs and you've got corporations. And both by itself is not really sustainable, right? Singularity started as a non-profit. But as a non-profit, we couldn't provide advisory advice, we couldn't give shares to provide, we couldn't take equity in companies that we actually spun out. So there's a lot of issues. And also every year we have to look for funding, look for sponsors, look for donations. On the other hand, if you're a corporation, and if you're a director of a corporation, what's your major responsibility as a director of a company? Any accountants? Shareholders, right? Oh, yeah. So we got to barrister this one. Right? So, the thing is that if I come to John and say, John, I got this great project, it's all legal. But you're going to move all these people off the villages, you're going to destroy all these trees, net impact of society is crap. But, it's legal and we're going to make a lot of money. As a director of a company, your responsibility is the shareholders. If you don't do it, I can sue you for not looking after my interests. Which is also not sustainable in the long run, which is why Singularity didn't want to be a corporation by itself. So they took the middle road and became like a social enterprise. Something called a benefit corporation. I'm not sure if you've heard about it, but a benefit corporation allows companies to follow the the objective of the constitution of what the company allows them to do. So it allows them to turn down projects that are profitable but not meeting the objectives. So I think that's a pretty interesting move. And you know our current system is kind of broken, right? When you've got homeless people and empty homes, right? Something is wrong, right? You've got starving people and you're dumping food to keep the prices steady. So obviously the system is kind of broken. What is the solution? I don't know. You know, we can suggest a few solutions, and I'd like you guys to think about it. And if you have a good answer, let me know. And you know that jobs are being replaced by machines and so on. There's two ways to look at it, right? One is that